You're watching KHQA This Morning. It's your news now.
5:15, time to check in with Kristen Aguirre. And you know, in our job, we're kind of paid to be nosy and be perceptive. I bet she's at the John Wood Mansion this morning, given the fact we just saw outside live the John Wood Mansion, and she travels with Mark.
Yes.
My powers of deduction today. Don't fail me, Kristen. How's it going?
There she is.
Yeah.
You are so observant, Chad. Yep, I am here at the John Wood Mansion getting ready to go inside for their Christmas candlelight tour. So we'll get a good look inside and see what it was like for the Christmas of the 1860s. So I'm kind of like the ghost of Christmas past this morning.
Ooh,
Great.
I
Go
like
ahead and call
that.
me Ebenezer Scrooge then.
Haha, Scrooge.
All right, thanks, Kristen.
Thanks,
Wood
Kristen.
Mansion. Maybe she's made her way inside by now.
Yeah, Kristen, what are you up to?
Yeah, good.
I am. I've made my way inside where it's a little bit warmer, and I'm here with Joe Winkleman, who is from the from the Historical Society of Adams County in Quincy. And what are we going to be doing here this morning?
You're going to be looking at what John Wood would have seen in the 1860s, except you wouldn't have had all the decorations. You wouldn't have had the Christmas trees. The Christmas trees would have been at the church or down at the park. But what they did was they had food. Food was big for Christmas. The young men would come, bring their entry cards, lay them on a plate. They would take them to the young ladies. If the young ladies wanted to say Merry Christmas, or if the young ladies didn't want to see them, the cards would go back and the young men would go to the next town.
Ooh, so the ladies, we got to reject them if we didn't want it.
And the ladies were in charge like they are now.
Oh yes, nothing has changed, men. Ladies are still in charge.
That's exactly right.
So how long has the Historical Society been
This has
putting
been
these
about
tours on?
27 years.
Wow.
And we open it free once a year for the public. We cannot go upstairs because we have no lighting upstairs. When the house was built, there was no electricity, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting to see that the candles, when you came in, how dark it was and how you were holding a candle, and that's what they did.
So basically what will be going on during the tours is that you guys will have the rooms lit by candles, and we'll go through each room and kind of talk.
We'll have different singing groups singing to ours, and we're open for.
Well, there's no singing groups here, but I have some pretty good pipes, Joe.
We could probably, we have an organ here, so we could have something
perfect.
good going.
What do you hope people get out of these tours?
To see the way people lived in the 1860s, I think a lot of people don't understand that if it weren't for John Wood, we would not be here. John Wood has spent about 60 years of his life in Quincy, developing Quincy, seeing Quincy, see how it grew. And as I say, if it weren't for John, we wouldn't be here. So we might be known as Bluffs, Illinois. And that's what the cartographers put it in when it was the military track. It was known as the Bluffs, Illinois.
All right, well, coming up later in the show, we are going to go ahead and get started on our tour and get a glimpse of what Christmas was like in the 1860s.
I like your Christmas sweater, too.
Thank you. It's Ugly Sweater Day at KHQA, so I decided to sport mine all show, except Joe said he likes my sweater.
I like it, too.
It might not be ugly.
It matches.
Yeah, I don't think that's considered an ugly sweater.
No, you got the cute, ugly sweater.
Yeah, it's cute ugly.
All right, Kristen, we'll talk to you.
Kristen Aguirre is there this morning at the John Wood Mansion getting a tour.
Yeah,
And Quincy
it sounds like a history lesson as well.
Hey, Kristen.
Hi, yeah, we're here and we are talking Christmas trees. We're starting our John Wood candlelight tour. So I know that the lights will be off probably in the tour.
This will be about what it is.
Okay, so I was a little curious about these ornaments because I asked Joe, what kind of ornament is this? He said this
It's copies nature, and it's the seeds, and I'm not sure what the fruit it was or what.
I think it's a tomato.
Tomato, yeah, we've got the tomato seeds. And the interesting ornament is the pickle ornament.
Yes, I saw these ornaments in a store somewhere and I didn't understand what the pickle was. I thought it was a jalapeno.
Well, that's close. You're close. Hot pickle, maybe.
Oh, a hot pickle?
Would be
jalapenos are something I would have on my tree.
Right. Anyway, it would be hidden, it would be the last ornament put on the tree, and it would be hidden in the tree. And then the child that found the ornament and hidden within the other ornaments, they got the last present of the Christmas season.
And this is a German tradition, we were saying.
Tradition.
So Germans were the ones that bought these Christmas trees.
Christmas trees were brought into the United States by the Germans because that was their tradition. My dad, he was born in 1902, and he was the Christmas candle person. They had 9 boys and 1 girl, and his job at Christmas time was to see they had live candles on the Christmas trees. And it was his job to see when the candle got down to so far to be sure to put it out, because Christmas trees burned with live candles on them.
Right, I don't think anyone uses live candles anymore.
No.
And so this is one of the rooms that will be on the tour.
This is the small dining room. This was when Daniel took the home over from his dad. And they moved the house from behind where it was across the street. Daniel wanted his own home. Anybody buys a house changes.
And Daniel's John Wood's son.
Daniel's the oldest of John Wood's kids. There were 8 kids. 4 lived to maturity, 4 didn't. But when John came over, there was a stairway right in the middle of this. And where you were before, that would be the big dining room. And there were cabinets on either side of the staircase. Daniel wanted a more intimate dining room. So what he did, he took the stairs out here, put them around the kitchen, and made this a dining room.
All right, great. Well, coming up later in the show, we're going to continue our tour here and see what else Christmas was like back in the 1860s.
Very cool, very interesting.
Nice.
Our own little star this morning, Kristen Aguirre, is giving us an inside sneak peek at the candlelit tour at the John Wood Mansion. Good morning.
Good morning. We are now in our second room here during the candlelight tour. Joe, what is the room we're in right now?
This is the main parlor, the front parlor. This is the most beautiful part of the house because when you came in the home, you wanted to see wealth, you wanted to see beauty, and this was it. This was done in the Victorian era. And if you look at the woodwork around the windows, it's all hand carved, and this is all original woodwork. And this is what the Germans that John brought up from New Orleans and from St. Louis did. They were craftsmen, and this is what John wanted for craftsmen.
So this is one of the rooms that'll be on the tours.
This will be on the tour.
We have the Christmas tree here that's decorated with.
And you'll have folks dressed up like John Wood, and there'll be reenactors, and they'll tell you about the house and what went on in the house.
And we'll also have some carolers.
And we'll have carolers and music, yes, absolutely.
Ooh, exciting. Since they're not here,
And
do you
now,
think
are
we
you going to
could
come and sing with the carolers
Could we
too?
break out in song?
Oh, sure.
What song should we sing?
Merry Christmas, or something like that. Bah Humbug or whatever.
Oh, no, no Bah Humbug.
Did you know Bah Humbug was Merry Christmas in German?
Oh, I
No,
don't.
it's not. I'm kidding you.
Come on, Joe.
It's too early in the morning. You know that.
So this Christmas tree, this one isn't decorated with fruit, but it is, again, decorated with
it's decorated
handmade.
with fans, and fans would have been very popular in the Victorian era. The ladies would have fans, and each movement of the fan meant something different. And we have fans over in the shop, and it has instructions. If you flutter the fan a certain way and wiggle your eyes, that means something. I'm not sure what it all means, but I wasn't. Some people say I was in that era, but I wasn't really.
No. Well, you can only imagine that I meant good things when a woman flutters her eyes at you.
Always, always, always.
Well, coming up later in the show, we are going to continue our tour here and continue to learn what Christmas was like back in the 19th century.
And looking very festive, too. The Christmas sweater.
Thank you. I'm wearing my ugly sweater. It is Ugly Sweater Day at KHQA, and I'm sporting this one. But like I said before, Joe does not think this is an ugly sweater.
No, it's not.
I'm wearing my ugly sweater.
We actually, we're matching.
Yes, that's right.
And we will be putting ours, too, very soon, too.
Yeah, we have ours
Like a hole in both of our heads, right?
in the back. And some holiday cheer.
Yes, Kristen, how's it going?
Oh, I'm just making up some Christmas dinner here in the John Wood Mansion. Look at how beautiful my chicken looks. And I also had time during the break to make this beautiful pie. Joe, now we're in the kitchen here at the John Wood Mansion. This is going to be on the candlelight tour.
Right.
So what is so interesting about this room?
This is a warming kitchen. The main kitchen was either downstairs in the basement or 30 feet east of the house, which would have been called the summer kitchen. And summer kitchens would have huge stone fireplaces, but they'd be wood around them. And every once in a while, the summer kitchens would burn. And that they just being that they were 30 feet away from the home, home didn't burn. They just rebuilt it and started over again.
Why is it so important for people to learn about history during the tours like this?
All because the past is the future. And if people don't understand what the past is, they'll never understand what the future is. My wife dragged me screaming, kicking into history. She was a historian, and she dragged me screaming into history. And I like this story. I like the John Wood story. John Wood was quite a character. He was a designer of houses. He designed this house with an architect. He built some things. He built a log cabin, the first log cabin down by front in Delaware. He built by himself with an axe and an aspen, no nails. And he just kept going and going. He was a real estate man. He was a friend of the Indians. He was a friend of the Mormons. I mean, he was he was all men to everybody. He could do almost anything he wanted to put his mind to.
Well, now you are dragging me into history because I wasn't so interested in it, but now I've been learning so much about what Christmas would have been like in the 1860s and all about John Wood. And so coming up later in the show, we're going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to pick Joe's brain about the past.
Cool.
Happy picking. Yeah. We're going to pick Dr.
Yeah, Kristen Aguirre is taking one this morning at the John Wood Mansion. How's it going?
It's going good. We are wrapping up our tour here at the John Wood Mansion, and we put our coats on because, Joe, it's cold in here. They didn't have any central heating back in the 1860s?
No central heating. They had 3 fireplaces and a coal stove.
That's it?
And that's it. And the young ladies who would get up before everybody else would, they'd have to start the fireplaces, and then they'd get warm and then they'd do other things. We probably had about 22 young ladies working here for Mrs. Wood in the mansion.
Wow. And so there's a ton of history here, and one of our favorite pieces we're talking about is this desk, and this was actually John's.
This was John Wood's desk. The Wood family gave it to us some years ago. And you can see that John liked ice water. Any time of the day or night, he always had ice water, was always ready to ice water. If you pan over just to the right of the ice water glass, you'll see John's watch. This is his watch that he used during his lifetime. And a little further over to the right is his inkwell. He did a lot of work here. He moved here after he lost everything in 1873, and his son invited him back to live in the original mansion.
And now the tours, what are some things that you are hoping people take away from these tours?
The history of who John Wood was, what this house was, what the house meant to Quincy, what John meant to Quincy. The people will be dressed as they were in the old days, in the 1860s, and they'll have a lot of background and a lot of information about the character that they're playing. And it brings people's interest, like your interest in history.
Yes, now I'm so interested in the past.
I'll have to send you some history books or give you some history
perfect. Books. And this is a lot about history, but this is going to be fun because you're going to have carols here. There's going to be a ton of stuff.
It's a joyous time of the year, yeah, a joyous time of the year.
All right, well, if you're interested in checking out the John Wood Mansion Candlelight Tour, their first showing will be held on the 16th from 6 to 8, and it's free.
See, Kristen, under your jacket, I see some holly. We have our sweaters on, too.
Yay!
Yes, it's Christmas
sweater
time.
day at KHQA, and
are you kidding
decided
me?
to sport our ugly ones, but
are you kidding me?
This is beautiful.
I have a snowman.
Look at mine. Mine's an ugly sweater.
What is this?
That's a skater, an ice skater.
Snowman?
It's like Christmas threw up on me.
Joe's interested to see what you guys have on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm tweeting a picture as we speak.
Yeah.